listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889.
Thank you for listening to Community Forum. My name is Johnny Chandler. I'm the owner of KCCC 930 AM and the host of Community Forum. With me today is Ryan Hemmler. Ryan Hemmler is the wellness coordinator here at Southeast New Mexico College. For those of you that don't know, we are partnered with the college and we record here all the time. Ryan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. So I've been on campus about a year and a half now, I guess. When I started floating around. You've been here the whole time.
Yes.
Right. Since I got here. And you're somebody that I met like almost right away.
Yes.
And I don't know how that was, because you were always involved in events here, like all the time. But I didn't even know your connection to the college outside of the fact I thought you were just a student.
One of my friends that's a past student actually worked for you for the summer. That was Murray.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's Murray. But I met you before I met Murray.
I think so. You just seem
barely.
familiar.
Yeah, because I was like, where's Ryan? And yeah. And then we're kind of a small place. So when your friend Murray mentioned that there's a Ryan that works at Southeast New Mexico College, I drew the connection pretty much immediately. Right. I felt like, for sure. So Ryan, you're from Carlsbad?
Yes, born and raised.
Born and raised in Carlsbad. How's that been for you?
It's a small town. You know, it's about as interesting as a small town is. It's nothing crazy, but I don't know. Carlsbad's my home, and I'm just kind of here still.
So what did you do as a high schooler to keep yourself busy? Like, what do high school? I didn't go to high school in Carlsbad. I was a 40-year-old adult before I moved to Carlsbad. So, like, tell me what you would do as a teenager or a high schooler.
So, I actually competed in a lot of science fairs as a high schooler. Starting at around, I want to say 7th grade, I started going to the regional competitions because I was winning the in-school science fairs.
Yeah.
I went to regionals, and then I did win a few regionals while I was in high school, so I went to state. And then I did go second place in the state competition, and then since you also get first place in the regional competition, I had the opportunity to travel to... one of them was in Phoenix, which is international.
Okay.
It was the ISEP, which is the International Science and Engineering Fair.
Got it.
At the time, it was sponsored by Intel, so it was Intel ISEF.
Okay.
And then it got sponsored by Regeneron, so it became Regeneron ISEF. Mm-hmm. But it's basically the largest science fair on the planet with, I want to say, over 60 countries participating.
And you placed, second?
I placed second in the state science fair.
Great.
I didn't place in
the international one?
International, unfortunately. The competition.
We're not taking away any of your accomplishments, man. Second in the state fair is really good, by the way. So congratulations on that.
I had a lot of fun traveling. That was the best part of it.
Yeah. What is Phoenix the farthest you traveled for that organization, or where else you may have gone?
So one of them was also held in Syracuse, New York.
Okay.
Which was actually really interesting at the time because
the weather was nice.
No, actually, the science fair project I had done for that year while I was in Syracuse, because there's two different international science fairs. There's that one, and then there's also another one called Genius Olympiad.
Okay.
And the one that was in Syracuse was Genius Olympiad. And it's funny and a bit ironic because the science fair project that I did was based on Archimedes' mirrors.
Okay.
And that was in the Battle of Syracuse.
Oh, nice. I did not know that. But thank you for that history lesson. But that's really great coincidental for you.
It's an ancient myth where he used mirrors to burn boats in the harbor.
Right. I felt like I've heard of that myth, but I didn't know Syracuse, New York was going to be like the place for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like,
it's not actually Syracuse, New York, but they just have the same name. So that was really interesting.
So it's just like a guess. Because where is Syracuse, New York in the relationship to like the Atlantic Ocean? Do you know on the map geographically?
It's upstate New York, so it's actually inland. It's near the edge of it's near the border of Canada.
Oh, okay. Is it near Great Lake?
Yes, actually. I actually stayed at a college that they hosted. It was I can't remember the college's name.
Well, there is a famous college called Syracuse.
Yes, the college literally sat on the beach.
All right, so I'm trying to figure out like why Syracuse would be important to boats, and the Great Lakes back then were so large that they might have thought they were the oceans for a while, right? So so now the boats are all coming through, and just like you, I'm a desert guy. I was born in Albuquerque. I lived in New Mexico most of my life whenever my dad wasn't deployed for the military. So as a result of that, bays and coast and gulfs and stuff, you know, right. I'm a little confused about those just because I didn't grow up with them, you know.
I've been to the ocean a few times, but it's not something I'm super used to.
Yeah, I know.
It's a bit weird seeing that much water.
I agree with you. It kind of bothers me too. The waves are kind of crazy, and then like my wife likes to sleep with the door open next to the beach when it's really nice, and it was so noisy. But I didn't, you know how some people put on ocean sounds to fall asleep? No, I had to turn them off to fall asleep. The ocean sounds didn't help me. So with all this science background in high school, I assume that you came to SENMC to get a science degree?
Yes. So
Okay.
I earned my associates in general science.
Great. And that was here at the college?
Yes.
And when did you graduate with that degree?
I graduated in 2023.
Great. So not too long ago.
No.
Oh, congratulations on that, by the way. Associate's degree.
Thank you.
That's definitely worthy. And tell us a little bit about what inspires you. If you're a science guy, second place in state competitions, kind of sounds like you might have had a choice of colleges or a grouping of colleges if you wanted. So why don't you tell us maybe the reason that you wanted to come to SENMC?
So I originally chose SENMC because I've always agreed with the idea that when you're going to college, you should start with a 2-year institution
Okay.
because it's much cheaper to get your associates there and then move on to get your 4-year degree at a university
Okay.
because you can really save money that way.
Right.
And since it was the local option, I thought it was pretty much the most practical. I didn't really have any strong feelings about it, but I'm definitely glad that I came here. It's provided me with a lot of opportunities.
So after you graduated with your 2-year degree here from SENMC, you went to a university, or you were going to a university, but you work at Southeast New Mexico College as well.
Yes.
So where are you going to school?
I go to SNHU online, which is Southern New Hampshire University.
Yeah, they advertise a lot. I think a lot of people have seen them. Right. And how long before you graduate?
I actually graduate in about 6 months.
In about 6 months. So, I mean, all said and done, you're going to have your bachelor's degree in how long a time period?
Pretty much 4 years total.
Okay, 4 years
Between-
total. Were you an
between
early
start of college to?
Were you an early college high school student?
No.
No. So you did high school, then you came here for 2, SENMC for
Yes.
2 years.
I
and then-
attended Jefferson Montessori Academy.
Oh
also
yeah,
known as
yeah, JMA.
Yes.
Yeah, great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you were able to get from being a regular student at SENMC, being enrolled in a bachelor's degree program at Southern New Hampshire University, and still working at the college at the same time? Like, how do you do that?
So when I first started going to the college, I really didn't have a job at the time when I was going to SENMC. My brother managed to get a student worker position in the IT department, and I thought, that was really interesting because he also goes to college here. He has
Yeah.
a job. It kind of works with everything. And
So he doesn't work here anymore, does he?
No, he does not. He moved to Las Cruces because he's pursuing a bachelor's there. At
NMSU.
Yes.
Cool. Good.
And
Is he your twin brother?
No.
Or you guys are real close in age then?
He's a little under 2 years older than me.
Okay.
About a year and 9 months.
All right. Yeah, you guys are pretty close.
Right.
Right.
But he managed to get a student worker position here, and I thought that was interesting. So I looked at trying to get a job here, and I ended up getting matched with HSI Grant Services, which was really nice.
Why don't you explain to everybody real quick before we get too far into your career now with HSI Grant Services? Right. Why don't you explain to us a little bit about what HSI Grant Services is here at the college, what HSI means, right? What HSI Grant Services does, how they work with SENMC and the community.
Right. Okay. So first I want to say off is the Grant Services Department, which in the word grant, it doesn't mean the financial aid that a student can be provided, but rather the grants that can fund the college themselves.
Okay.
So typically when you're trying to get a grant, there are competitions where you can apply for them and you sort of fill out, it's not like a form, but you sort of like the purpose of the grant, how you're going to use it, what it's going to go for, the objectives of it, and stuff like that. To add on to that too, we are HSI Grant Services. HSI stands for Hispanic Serving Institution, which means at least 25% of our undergraduate population is Hispanic.
It's only 25%?
At least 25%.
Yeah, 25%. For some reason, I thought it was like 60%.
No. Well, actually, our SENMC count, I think, is over 50%.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's where that's...
It's just to become an HSI, you have to have a minimum of 25% undergraduate.
And so if you become an HSI college, which we are already, right, and you have over 25% of your student population is Hispanics, right? That otherwise Hispanic serving institution makes a lot of sense, right? Can a lot of campuses qualify for this?
As long as they meet that minimum requirement of 25% undergraduate population rate being Hispanic, any college can apply for being an HSI.
Okay, so what anybody that lives in Carlsbad understands that we have a large Hispanic population here in Carlsbad. It's over 25% everywhere. It's a really nice melting pot that we have, actually, when you think about it that way. I like it. I enjoy it quite a bit. What does HSI Grant Services do for the community and for the students here at college, knowing that you have like a fairly, from the surface here, and you're teaching me about this, right? It sounds like you have a pretty specific mandate to help Hispanic students.
So it's funny you say that. So while we are an HSI, that kind of highlights the whole Hispanic thing.
Right.
Specifically what being an HSI does is it allows us to apply for extra other grants that can usually be applied for the Hispanic community. But the thing with these grants is they don't just target Hispanic. They target Hispanic, low-income, first-generation students, that kind of stuff. And while those are the target areas or the target population, it's not exclusive to that population. Okay. So really any student can benefit from what we provide. And what we provide is different events and programs around the college promoting different things. And not only that, but we actually fund some of the programs as well here at the college.
Right. Can you tell me what type of programs you guys fund? I mean, you haven't been working there very long. Well, you've been there for a while, but you haven't been full-time very long. How long have you been full-time?
I've been full-time about, I want to say, 2 months.
Okay, right. So you should know everything already.
I'm trying to learn as much as I can.
Give me 1 or 2 programs that you guys are funding.
So I know that we fund a lot of the machines for the welding classes.
Great.
Some of the large machines that can cost tens of thousands of dollars.
Astronomical amount of money. Right. Yeah, they're huge.
I think we've done a few things for the EMS classes.
Yeah,
as well.
Those are fun here right now too, with all the
they
future
firefighter
like cadets. They're having a good time.
Like all that stuff displayed in the hallway. And whatnot.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. All right, those are 2 good ones. I asked for 2. Thank you very much. I know there's many more, and I asked, and just for the listeners, I knew the answer to that already, but I did want to test Ryan just a little bit as to see how he was doing. Now, your title within HSI Grant Services is called the Wellness Coordinator.
Yes.
Right. Can you explain what the Wellness Coordinator is, what they do, what's the point?
So my job as the Wellness Coordinator is to help promote health and wellness around the campus. Not only that, but as you know, the college is in the middle of renovations.
Yes.
We're currently waiting for approval to redesign and remodel a new gym or a fitness area for the campus. So I'll also be maintaining that as well.
Oh, great.
And keeping that clean and well upkept.
Yeah.
And I'll eventually possibly get a student worker who can help do that with me.
Oh, great.
But besides that, some of the programs that I'll be helping to host is the mind control workshop that we have, where we have Honor Medina.
So go ahead and explain to everybody. We have not ever talked about the mind control workshops here on the radio station. I've attended one. You know what I mean? They're great. I really like them, but they're open to the public, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's spend just a couple of minutes specifically on these mind control programs that we have with Honor Medina, because it is really a special thing here in the community that I'd like to see more members of the community utilize.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, mind control is a reoccurring monthly workshop that we host here at the college. It's in collaboration with a licensed marriage counselor whose name is Honor Medina. And she helps provide information for different workshops, and most of them just have different topics because it's reoccurring. So one of the most recent ones I can think for an example is for stress remedies, where we can learn different things through breathing exercises, stress management techniques, and stuff like that to help manage your stress and your workload better.
Yeah. So you can come in person. When are they typically? When's mind control typically?
So we actually have a lot of flyers around campus that say the date of each month. It's a little random sometimes.
Okay, it's not like the second Wednesday of every month. It's always a little bit different.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So it's once a month. If I'm a member of the community and the public, and I'm interested in tuning into this or joining this program, this mind control program, there's a Zoom option, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a Zoom option. So you don't even have to come to the campus if you really want to be a part of it, right? Even though I think that we would really prefer all community members to come to the campus at least once to come visit what we're doing out here, in my opinion. And then 2, where would I be able to find that information if I'm a member of the public who didn't make it on campus?
So you can actually come to the college. We have, I want to say, dozens of flyers advertising just about every event we have around the college, the bulletin boards, tables, in some of the lounge areas on the tables there.
Yeah, so social media, I think I'm asking.
Yes.
Do you guys post this stuff on social media anywhere? And then if I'm a member of the public and I wanted to try to find it by going on Facebook, what would I search? How would I find you?
HSI Grant Services is the tag name that we have for Facebook as well as Instagram.
Okay.
And then we are actually currently trying to do a survey for students to find the best times to attend for events so we can have a better outcome.
Right.
And we're also trying to find what social media they use the most.
Got it. Right. And that's like a new thing now with that, because like, is TikTok going to stay around or not? Right.
Right.
I don't have one currently. I'm really not that interested, but if it stays, right, if the U.S. government and Trump or what everybody else works out a way for it to stay, right, then you don't have a choice. You have to get on it, right? I mean, you
just got to ride the wave.
I'm just kind of hanging out, waiting for them to decide if it's meant for China and us or just for China, right? If it's meant for If it's meant for other countries and not us, then why would I bother now if it gets shut down in 2 or 3 months, right? That's kind of how I feel. Do you have a TikTok?
I had one, but I don't really use it that much, so I didn't really care for it.
All right, so I'm going to survey you real quick, all right? Send out a survey to students. You're an employee now. You were a former student. What social media would you like to see HSI Grant Services on the most, the one that you would pay attention to the most?
Personally, probably Instagram.
Yeah, I like Instagram too. The thing about Instagram, though, is I refuse to turn it to my professional page, right? Like it's my personal page, but I have a radio station Facebook page, and it's all like connects. And every once in a while, Instagram will pop up and ask me if I want to change it to my work page. And they said if you do that, it's going to be your personal Instagram is not going to be a work page forever.
Right.
I don't know why it does that. You're younger. You can help me. Why does it do that?
I'm not completely sure, but I think it's probably so you can't take advantage of the follower accounts, so that if you build a brand, you can't just sell the account and turn it into somebody's account, like a personal account.
Yeah. Well, that would be a good
That'd
point.
be my best guess.
No, it's a good guess because, I mean, I would say I would agree with you on that. I like debating this type of stuff too, but I would say that yes, except for I'm not monetizing, right? Like I'm not monetizing anything on Instagram.
Right.
Right. It's just a personal page that they don't even say like, oh, look, you played a song that somebody else is making money off of. I don't even get that far. You know what I mean? So, so I don't know. That just kind of bothers me. But so you would say Instagram. What do you think? Let's look into the future. What do you think the survey is going to come back as? You're not like much older than any of these students. You're still really close in age to where you're still hip, for lack of a better term.
My best bet would be, as we said earlier, TikTok, or I want to say maybe Snapchat.
Yeah. So do you like Snapchat?
I use it to message some of my friends occasionally.
Do you? I had it for a little while, and I just stopped. I felt like Instagram was good for me, because I used to rock MySpace.
I actually had a MySpace.
Did you?
I did.
I mean, like you had one. How old were you when you had a MySpace then?
Ooh, I want to say like maybe 8.
Okay, so let's tell everybody on air if they're paying attention how old I am. I remember having MySpace for the first time ever after I graduated college and was working at Channel 13 in Albuquerque. So I'm like 23, 24 years old by the time I have a computer, and that MySpace is actually something you go home and do at the house, right? And then it was only on desktop, and it was lame. I was like, it was kind of lame. It's very different than it is now. As a wellness coordinator, we just talked about the mind control event that's open for the public, right? And you are responsible for that event now?
Yes.
Okay. But you were mentioning to me earlier before we recorded that primarily your job as wellness coordinator it's in-reach and outreach. Like obviously,
just in-reach.
So mind control is in-reach. The mind control event's in-reach for you, but that's also something the community can come to.
Yes.
So who within your organization is responsible for the outreach?
So that would be, I want to say I think Raymond.
Yeah, you guys have had a little bit of turnover lately.
Yes.
So there's some new people moving jobs around. So, and this is helping me and everybody else understand the structure of how HSI Grant Services works, if you will. So you guys create events as a team.
Yes.
Right. That are for the public and for students, and some are just for students, but a lot are for the public as well, right? And then each of you has a responsibility within that event to help promote that event within your set of duties, right?
So we actually have different employees that manage the different grants.
Okay.
And those different grants have actually different objectives.
Got it.
For example, the mind control is under a Title III grant, while we have, say, something else like the financial aid workshops, which is part of the Title V grant.
Okay.
Yeah, which is why those events are under Raymond. And then other one, mind control, is under Eric. However, as wellness coordinator, I'm going to be taking over the mind control.
Got it. Right. And you'll take over the mind control as one of your responsibilities, and then you're responsible for in-reach to get as many people within the campus there as possible.
Yes, I'm trying.
No, I get it. It's yeah. And then technically I should be interviewing somebody else about the outreach of it, but you can cross-pollinate a little bit. Tell us a little bit about it. One more thing I want to get into real quick is what's sitting in front of us. Now, I know you are the in-reach coordinator, but I mean, we can't talk about HSI Grant Services without talking about the March 20th event. Right. It's only going to be a couple of weeks away. It's Thursday, March 20th from 4 to 6 p.m. here at the Southeast New Mexico College Gym. It's free and open to all the public. Why don't you give us a little bit about what the STEAM creativity competition is? And real quick, I said STEAM, not STEM.
Right.
Science, technology, engineering, art, and math. So why don't you go ahead and tell us what this is about?
Well, the STEAM Expo is actually the biggest event we have, or not the biggest, but one of the biggest events that we have every year.
I was like, Taste of Culture, I think, is a little bigger.
Yes, Taste of Culture is massive.
It's hard to beat that one.
And then we also have the Transfer and Career Fair, which is pretty decently sized.
As
well. But no, so the STEAM Creativity Competition is something that we're hosting alongside the STEAM Expo, and it's for really any student in town, so college students, high school students, middle school students, even elementary school students can participate. And we do have different prizes for that. But the competition really is just sort of creating a STEAM project or STEAM-related project that can, like just kind of showcase your creativity or different problem-solving skills.
Right.
So kind of sort of similar to a science fair, but it's not so focused on trying to get a hypothesis and all the objectives and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. So submission deadlines are probably already done by the time that we're actually talking about this. So I would encourage you to come March 20th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Southeast New Mexico College. Elementary school students, high school students, middle school students, and college students can participate. Let's talk about some of the prize details if you win. There's a laptop up for grabs, right?
Yes.
Also got a tablet, some AirPods, and some Amazon gift cards. That's actually pretty good.
We try to give a lot of incentive.
I was like, that's pretty good, man. I ran through that list as if maybe I was lessening the importance of those prizes, but they're not. They're good.
They're pretty nice.
They're pretty nice. And so, who does the judging?
That I do not know.
You're not the judge?
No, I'm not a judge.
That's because you don't have your science bachelor's degree yet.
I'm actually not going for a bachelor's in science. So my
what are you doing?
associate's was general science.
Okay.
But it's actually the reason I went to SNHU. I'm going for cybersecurity.
Okay.
SNHU actually has the highest rated cybersecurity program in the United States.
Wow.
So it's the only program actually backed by the NSA.
So it's like the engineering science degree, basically, right? Is that cybersecurity? But there's science involved in that, right?
A little bit.
Like coding and stuff like that nature?
There is a little bit of scripting classes, but I'm not too good at that, to be quite honest.
So are you a pretty good coder?
I mean, I can understand it to an extent, and I can kind of tweak things and kind of understand how it works, but I'm not very good at creating it from scratch.
Yeah. You are way farther than I am already, right? Like way farther. Like
Right.
this coding thing it's unbelievable to me. I'll tell you a quick story. When I was about your age, I was working in a newsroom, and we would get a lot of people that would call the newsroom, right? And we'd get a lot of elderly people that would call the newsroom, right? And at this time in history, the internet was just becoming a big thing, right? So as a result, the TV station would tell everybody watching at home to go on our website to vote on this, or go on our website to look at this and do that. So then I would get elderly people that would call, and my primary job was to answer the phone in the newsrooms over and over again all day, right? And I would answer the phone, and there would be an elderly person really, really, really mad, right? Really mad that they have to go on a website to get a little bit more information, right? Really upset. This is a time in history where not everybody had a computer in their house yet, right? 2002, 2003.
They're expensive.
It's getting there, right? But there's no tablets, there's no phones, right? It's just a laptop, and the laptop battery's not good, whatever, all that stuff. So they were complaining about this all the time. And at some point I had to say, I'm really sorry, but the whole world is moving to computers. Like everybody. You're just going to have to suck it up and get one and learn how to email or something, right? Just the basics, right? You just got to learn the basics. And then that got me thinking when I was your age, what is one of the things that I'm going to be elderly and just not care about and refuse to learn, right? It came way, way sooner than I thought. It's coding.
Coding?
I'm not going to learn it. I've made a decision in my life that I'm not going to learn coding.
Well, coding isn't really one of those skills that you'd expect everybody to learn. It's a very hard subset because it's pretty much just like math. It's a completely new language.
Yeah, but isn't like coding the future? Like that's what you probably need to learn, or is AI going to knock us out on that?
Honestly, that's a pretty difficult question.
I know.
AI is pretty good at doing just about anything you want it to be.
Yeah, have you been messing around with AI at all?
A little bit.
I've been doing the
I
grok
think it's
and
kind of
stuff.
interesting because I think what it's called, ChatGPT,
Yeah.
that one.
Mhm.
It does actually have a new coding interface that you can use. You can help generate different stuff.
Yeah, it's just to make it easier to code, right? Yeah, because some of the big people that are coders, and they talk about this AI like it's the next big thing. And then I'll listen to some podcasts, and the whole podcast is about how, well, this DeepSeek, which is the Chinese one that's real big right now, right? It just has a better vibe when I'm talking to this robot than ChatGPT.
Right.
And I was like, are we really just sitting around judging what artificial intelligence program has a better vibe?
I suppose, but
Yeah.
it's a bit strange. It's as you said, it's new.
Is that why it feels so weird like that?
I'd probably say so.
Yeah, so as somebody that's a different generation, I'm very easily old enough to be your father, right? So the question is it like this stuff sounds like it just doesn't make any sense to me that you got a bunch of young guys, and there mostly seems to be guys that are talking about how cool this machine, which is a fake person, pretending to be a fake person, has a cool vibe, right?
I've not really understood that personally.
I'm talking to a computer like it's a person, and I need this computer to have a person vibe. I don't know. I just don't. I know that there's a lot more that's going to come from this. That is going to it's just going to come out of left field, and I'm just going to try to hang on. You know what I mean? But the idea is, I know this is a sidetrack, but it's not really a sidetrack because we're talking about Steam. We're talking about the future.
I've never used any of those AI chatbots. I think it's a bit strange.
Yeah.
I'd rather talk to a real person.
I did some Grok stuff, right? The one on X. I've been messing around with that one a little bit, and I just get really tired of the fact that they can't spell words right in the photos I wanted to create. You know, they always get a word. They always spell a word wrong.
I mean, if you've seen some of the like the progression in terms of like how much more developed like videos are, like deep fake generated videos and stuff like that, it's come a really long way.
I know, like it isn't.
It's a bit creepy to an extent.
It really is. Like, you ever watch those videos on social media where it's like the cars crashing into something at different speeds? You ever seen that one?
I think so, yes.
Right. So it's like, here's what a bus crashing into a rock looks like at 20 miles an hour, then 30, then 50, then 70, right? It looks real. It's not. It's a video. It's literally, it looks like,
it's definitely strange.
It looks like Grand Theft Auto sometimes, right? And then you're sitting there, you're watching something. I can't peg the video that I saw the other day. I can't tell you exactly what it was, but I watched all the way to the end of this 1.5-minute video before I knew it was fake. Before I realized that it was an artificial intelligence video.
And it's always like just some small mistake that you kind of like see and
it's just at the end.
And then you realize the whole thing is just...
Yeah, the whole thing was fake. Oh, actually, I remember what it was right now. It was a plane landing on an airport, right, to like a fly line. It was like a really cool camera angle. And we're like, look how low that thing is to the buildings, right? And then how long is this thing going to fly that low over all these buildings? And then once it got to like landing on the runway, there was some pixel or something that was out of place on the actual runway. And I was like, I just watched a fake video. I was disappointed by it, you know?
Sort of like a gotcha moment.
It really was. And there's a lot of gotcha moments online now.
Yes.
It's really hard to tell what's real and what's not. So be careful.
It's all for engagement nowadays. It's just...
Yeah, I know. And then, you know, and the stuff that you complain about, but you also watch, you end up getting more of.
Right.
Right? Because you're the one that's creating that. You're the one that's getting more of those videos. It's not the computer.
The more you interact with it, the more it shows up.
That's right. And so what you got to do is you interact with it differently to get rid of things that you don't want. Like, you literally have to work with the algorithm as if it's like your coworker, right? You know, you'd be like, all right, coworker. So let's say in this scenario, Ryan's my coworker, right? Well, Ryan, that's not quite how we like to do that. You get a newer job here. They're going to tell you, well, we like to do it this way. You know, that's like telling the AI, you got to do it this way. It's really odd to me. And I'll come around.
Computer will only do what you tell it to.
For now.
For now.
For now. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about this computer being able to do what you don't tell it to do. That's what they want AI to be.
It's a bit, I don't know, somebody who's kind of like, it reminds me of the movie, what is it, I, Robot with Will Smith.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, actually, exactly. And it's almost like, if you go and look at all those movies, it's almost just like we're predicting the future anyways.
To an extent,
right?
yeah.
It's like that movie came out with Will Smith and I, Robot, which is a pretty fun movie. I'd even watch it again if it came on.
It was unique.
Yeah, it was good. I agree. Right? So you sit there, you're watching that, but you're like, no, that's just us. That's a prediction. We're premonitioning that, right? We're putting that out there, and now that's the path we're headed on, because our collective subconscious is way stronger than we think.
Right.
That's what I believe. Well, thanks for entertaining me on all that as a cyber... What degree do you want again?
I'm looking at cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity. As a future cybersecurity expert, I'm very interested in all that stuff. And I find like the AI and all that, you're on the cutting edge of all that.
Well, I'm trying to keep up with it. It's a bit strange, especially when it comes to coding, like you mentioned earlier. There's actually multiple different coding languages. There's Java, there's Linux, there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think that I know anybody that I know is a coder, they always kind of like Linux the most, from what I seem to recall. Like, it's not an operating system that anybody uses every day, typically.
Right.
But those coders and stuff, they do like a good Linux operating system.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So when you graduate from Southern New Hampshire University in 6 months with your bachelor's degree, and it's a win, I can tell, man. You're cruising. Congratulations already.
I'm trying pretty hard.
Good. What are you going to do with it?
I don't know yet.
Okay, so you know what you want to do with you know what field you're interested in, right? But I guess my main question that I'm getting at is, I know there's a lot of opportunity here in Eddy County with some major corporations that work down here when it comes to cybersecurity, other things of that nature. There might be an opportunity here for you in Eddy County after you get that official degree. How comfortable would you be having to leave Carlsbad for that job? Since, I mean, this is like, that's a fair question.
Not that uncomfortable.
Are you sure? Because you're a born and raised Carlsbad guy and you like it here.
I like Carlsbad to an extent, but I'm not afraid of a new adventure, I'd say.
Okay.
I think it'd be kind of nice to go somewhere.
For a little while?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
see,
get it.
see new sights, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Would you work for NASA? Or the NNSA?
I mean, if I somehow got a job there, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it'd be definitely interesting, but I'm not sure I'm the kind of that high of a caliber to be on the radar.
Yeah.
I definitely have to apply.
Right.
But no, one of the biggest things when it comes to tech-related fields isn't actually the degree itself. A lot of it can actually be the different certifications that you can get.
Yeah.
So stuff like the CompTIA exams and stuff like that, which are stuff you can study for, and then you take an exam for it, and you get a certification which sort of authenticates your ability in certain technological areas or fields.
Right. You know, I've always, since I've been here at SENMC, I've been interviewing a lot of younger people. Now that I'm no longer a younger person, the idea of people about to graduate college, just graduated college, and I'm envious of the idea of like all the potential that you have at like 22 or 23. Right now, I'm happy where I'm at. I own a radio station. I got a great job at the college. My wife and I have a pumpkin patch and a vineyard, and we've done really, really well. We're happy. You know what I mean? But there's still something about that youth and the potential of just getting started. You know what I mean?
I'm really excited to graduate, but if I'm being honest, I don't really know what I'm going to do with all that free time.
Or you got a job here. How long is your job here good for?
So my current position is actually grant funded, and since these grants run on a time scale, so which can usually be a couple years, I will currently be here till at least through the end of the year.
Okay, through December?
Yes.
You will already have graduated college by that time?
Yes, I graduate this June.
So I mean, so that's at least another 6 months here while you're finding that first big step, right? Man, that's a real comfortability for you. You're in a really great spot.
I'd like to say so, and something I find really fascinating is despite me being an online student, I can actually go travel to SNHU and do the walk on stage and get my diploma in person.
Yeah, I think that's great. Are you going to do it?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I'd love to go to New Hampshire.
There's one in May, but I'm banking for the one in November because they have it two different times a year.
Yeah, twice a year. Yeah, you get the spring class and then the fall class. I walked in December of 2002, right? So I was one of those as well. Well, Ryan, we're out of time. Did we get to anything? Did we get to what you wanted to talk about?
For the most part, we covered just about everything.
Okay. Thanks for following me on my tangents on AI, being a future cybersecurity expert. Ryan Hellmer, wellness coordinator here at Southeast New Mexico College through HSI Grant Services. I've met you since the day you got on campus. You have such great energy. I love seeing you around. I'll be sad to see you go when you take that next big step, but that's what we're here for you to take that next big step. So Ryan, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and I'm more than willing to be on for any of our future events and stuff like that to sort of promote.
All right, well, you're signed up. It's done.
Right,
You'll be here.
Thank you.
You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889.